We decided to do the book because for a couple of reasons. Cheryl's an amazing photographer, and she has this amazing, never seen before collection. And for me, personally, I wanted to get involved because I'm not a part of hip hop directly. I'm not a rapper, obviously, or anything like that. But I've been in the business and been around the business, so to kind of see what these guys have done and how they've taken, you know, rap past, you know, music. It's become a phenomenon, it's a culture, it's a, you know, so it's just, for me, I wanted to present something beautiful and package it, and almost like an ode to them, to what they've done.
Imagine a story that never saw the light. A personal account lost to time, full of secrets, struggles, and redemption. Kim Porter, the iconic model and actress, left behind more than just memories. She left a manuscript filled with her innermost thoughts, but it vanished with her untimely passing. What hidden truths might it have held? And why did it disappear just as her story reached its most intriguing chapters?
Kim Porter was found this morning in bed, unresponsive, in the upstairs bedroom of this Toluca Lake home. They say a doctor spoke with them who said she had been feeling ill for the last week.
When Kim Porter tragically passed away in 2018, the world mourned the loss of a woman whose life was far more complex than what paparazzi photos and media coverage revealed.
No one's ruling out anything at this point. The cause of death is just undetermined because we don't know the cause of death. There's no obvious signs of death upon examining the decedent.
Was P. Diddy home at the time of her death, or just here when you got here?
I can't comment on that.
What about the children? They were here. We've seen them coming in and out of the house. They were at home as well?
I don't believe the children were home at the time.
Known widely for her long-standing relationship with Sean Diddy Combs and her role as a devoted mother, Porter's life was marked by highs and lows, trials and triumphs that few knew about.
It was the same thing Kim was going through. I didn't know her, but I knew somebody like her, and that was Kim Porter.
In her later years, she'd begun working on a memoir, a deeply personal account of her life, her dreams, and her untold struggles. However, as mysterious as Kim Porter's life was, the story of her lost book is perhaps even more mystifying. This vanished manuscript is rumored to contain the raw, unfiltered version of her life, and to this day, questions linger. What happened to the book, and what might it have revealed about Kim's complex world? But guess what? We have the book, so join us as we delve into the chapters together as I narrate it to you. All right, so let's take it back to where it all began. Kim was born in Georgia, the Peach State, to two incredible parents, Jake and Sarah Porter. Now, if you knew Kim back then, you'd know that even in high school, she was destined for something bigger. Kim remembered when her friend Tina said to her, "You won't make it here in Georgia." And honestly, she was right. That one conversation flipped a switch in Kim, and she had to leave if she really wanted to make it. While searching for greener pasture, she met Al while working in the industry, and let me tell you, he was so charming.
Introduced us. He actually came up to me and he was like, "Kim, do you want to meet Al B. Sure?" And I'm like, yeah. He was nice. He was very genuine and sweet and compassionate, and those are the things that I fell in love with, outside of his good looks.
She was also, very independent and kind of doing her own thing. Modeling, and she was in and out of Italy, and so I would fly over to Italy and support her.
They got married super fast, and before she knew it, Quincy was on the way. But we were both young and it just wasn't meant to last. Luckily, we've stayed super close over the years. Al's an amazing dad, and I'll always have love for him.
What's up, y'all? It's your friendly international superstar, Queen Princess Maker, Diddy, and I'm back. I know it's been a long time, been shooting a movie, but I came back for a special occasion. Today, God is the greatest. He blessed me and my girlfriend Kim in the world with 2 beautiful baby girls.
Now enter Sean, the wolf in a sheep body. At first, he was just another guy at the label. Cool, but nothing serious. But then, he started working his charm, and before I knew it, we were dating. If you haven't seen the video Diddy, the unsolved mystery of Kim Porter's death yet, make sure to head over to our channel or check out the link in the description to watch it now. You don't want to miss out on the full story. Kim, a young single mom at Uptown, one of the hottest companies, and HWT boyfriend's career was blowing up. It felt like a dream. And honestly, it just kept getting better. However, back in the day, Sean was always hanging out with Clive. Yeah, the Clive we all know. At first, I thought nothing of it. I mean, he was Sean's boss, and they were both doing these massive things in the industry, bigger than most people could ever dream. But then, something happened that totally changed everything. I'll be real with you guys, I was open-minded, you know? I liked trying new things, having fun with my partner. But one night, Sean suggested something that really caught me off guard. He wanted me to use a certain, let's say, toy on him. I was like, wait, what? I mean, he kept saying he just wanted to experiment, that it was only going to be this one time. Kim was 20 at the time, young, still figuring things out, so she thought, all right, whatever, I'll give it a shot. But guys, it was awful. I instantly regretted it, and to be real, things got pretty messy. After that, I just needed space. I stopped answering his calls, trying to move on. But then, a few weeks later, we bumped into each other at an event. Sean came over, all friendly, complimented Kim with, "You look amazing." I just said, "Thanks, Sean," and tried to get out of there. But he grabbed my arm and looked me dead in the eyes, saying, "Look, I know what happened was weird, but I really care about you. I think I'm falling in love with you." I was shocked. I mean, love? That was fast. And let me tell you, she didn't realize at the time. But this was the start of a manipulative cycle. Kim was so young, so naive. Looking back, she wished she had seen it for what it was. So, after everything that happened, Sean was still trying to win Kim back. He convinced her to have dinner, and a few days later, they were out at this swanky lounge in Lower Manhattan. He was pulling out all the stops, being the perfect gentleman, saying, "Look, I hated it, and I never want to do that again. Give me another chance." I figured, all right, maybe we can move on. So over coffee the next morning, Kim decided to give him another shot. And honestly, things were going great. Sean was coming up fast. Bad Boy Records was taking off. He was signing big names, and it felt like Kim was finally living her dream. But then, Sean asked her to do that again. I couldn't believe it. He said he couldn't stop thinking about that night and begged her to do it one more time. She snapped and said, "Why don't you go to Clive? Isn't he the one screwing you?" Sean slapped, and before she could react, he started apologizing, begging her to forgive him. She was furious and ran out. Kim thought she was done with him. But then came the flowers, the gifts, the endless apologies. We bumped into each other at another event, and of course, he went straight into apologizing, saying he loved me and Quincy like his own son. He looked so genuine, so sweet. And despite everything, part of me missed him. As he started to walk away, I heard myself say, "Call me later." Sean started showing up at Kim's place with flowers, asking to see Quincy. And let me tell you, he's great with Quincy. Like, my son ran up to him all excited, and they had this sweet moment. Sean calls him Tiger, and even does this little love tap, sending him off to bed. Watching them, I had this wave of nostalgia. Like, this was the man I fell for. But then reality hits. This is also the same guy who slapped me and has some, let's just say, unusual requests. So why am I still here? Sean looks over at Kim and said, "Let's go have some fun. Babysitter's on the way." And before I knew it, I agreed. We're sitting on the couch, laughing, actually having a good time, when the doorbell rings. Babysitter's here, we head outside, and a huge guy in a suit gets out of a limo to open the door for us. And I mean, he's got a gun tucked right there, not even trying to hide it. I'm thinking, did Sean want me to see that? But this guy, Gene, turns out to be polite, respectful, even gives me a "good evening, ma'am." Little did I know, I'd be seeing a lot more of Gene after that night.
her book, because there's always been a rumor, she got because she was exposing a lot of stuff in her book.
It was alleged that she did have a book, and she was talking about everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy.
A year goes by and things seem relatively calm. No big fights, though Kim starts noticing Sean's strange interest in voodoo. He's out here putting curses on people. But that's not all. Kim's got marriage on her mind, and while she's waiting for Sean to commit, his career is absolutely taking off. Biggie's dropped, his label is blowing up, and things are busier than ever. There comes in Mary J. Blige. Sean signs her, and as Kim soon finds out, he's also sleeping with her. Now, as explosive as that revelation was, Kim eventually takes him back. And then, Sean ups the ante, asking Kim for a threesome with Mary. At first, she's furious, but it turns out, well, let's just say it doesn't go how you'd expect. She agrees, and for the first time, she finds herself enjoying this new, adventurous side of their relationship. Over the years, Sean and Kim continue to bring other people into the bedroom every now and then. But one night, things take a turn from exciting to bizarre. Kim comes home to find her ex, Al B. Sure, who's also the father of her child Quincy, sitting at her dinner table with Sean. Everything's friendly at first until Sean drops a comment suggesting they take their sharing to another level. Kim's taken aback, but Al's surprisingly intrigued. It's like this moment where everything is on the table, and just when things are getting really intense, something happens that makes Kim bolt out of the room. Sean calls after her, but she's done for the night. And just when you think it couldn't get any crazier, Kim later finds out that Sean kept a vault, a record of all his encounters. Not just with women, but with men too. Yeah, there's more to this story, and from what we know, this discovery is just the tip of the iceberg. So if you thought this was a wild ride, you're gonna want to stick around for the next part. We're only scratching the surface here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and stay tuned because trust me, things are about to get even more intense.
Pop. Biggie is dominating the scene, but what a lot of people don't realize is that behind all the success was Diddy. Hey guys, welcome back. The strings. Now, if you missed our last deep dive, you'll definitely want to go back and check it out. We covered all the twists and turns that set the stage for today's story. But today, we're getting into some intense chapters. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Chapter 11-15. Kim started with how she felt kinda good with Sean gone. Like, finally I could breathe. The crazy sex parties were out of hand and I was just getting older. I needed to chill before the rumors started making their way to Quincy. I didn't need that drama. Plus, Chris was heading to Cali, and honestly, I had a bad feeling about what was about to go down with Tiana Wallace. Anyway, it's Friday night. I'm sipping wine, just trying to relax in my robe, and bam. The doorbell rings. I wasn't expecting anyone, but I open the door, and who's standing there? Sean. My heart stops for a second, but I try to play it cool, force a smile and slur out, "Hey, come on in." Clearly I'd had a bit too much wine, but whatever. Sean's looking around like he's suspicious or something, and then says, "You haven't been answering my calls. Just wanted to make sure you're okay." Now listen. Sean was not here out of concern. This man is all about control. Even though we're not together and he's dating someone else, he's still got his eye on me. Classic Sean. Imagine someone who once meant everything to you now in your home, with a look that's colder than anything you've ever seen. It was supposed to be a simple visit, just a checkup. But things took a terrifying turn fast. She thought she'd be safe, but then Diddy dropped her to the floor. And then he calmly put a gun on the table. This wasn't some outburst of jealousy. This was a calculated move. "If I wanted to hurt you," he said, "no one would trace it back to me." Can you imagine the fear Kim felt at that moment? But here's the scariest part. He wasn't there to win her back. No, he was there to make sure she'd keep his secret. Diddy didn't need Kim love, he needed her silence. In the days that followed, Diddy flooded Kim with flowers, expensive toys for her son, and more. All meant to buy her compliance. But what she couldn't escape is that she was living with a constant shadow, a chilling reminder of how high his power reached. And now she was trapped, knowing she couldn't even turn to the authorities for help. So, where does she turn next? How do you break free from someone who holds so much power? Stick around as we dig deeper into this story, exposing the web of influence and control that some people are desperate to keep hidden. The calamity that ensued behind the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was complicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. Now imagine sitting at a dinner table with the mother of someone whose death rocked the music world. Someone taken too soon. Also imagine that the person sitting across from her is the one she believes was behind it all. That was the reality for Kim. She was there, listening to Ms. Wallace, the mother of Biggie Smalls, begging Sean for financial help after her son's death. But Sean, cold as ice. He kept saying that business is business, that Biggie owed him money. Can you imagine the heartbreak of that moment for Ms. Wallace? One night Kim was out with Diddy. Yes, they were on again. And we were joined for dinner by none other than Ms. Wallace. It got even darker when Ms. Wallace stared Sean dead in the eye and asked, "Did you kill my son?" Sean just sat there, pretending to be hurt, faking that sadness with a straight face. But Kim knew better. She'd seen that look 100 times. She could tell it was all an act, hiding something terrifying beneath. This wasn't just a meal. This was Ms. Wallace risking everything, putting herself in harm's way to get answers, to confront the man she believed was complicit in her son's death. And for Kim, it was a chilling reminder of how far Sean would go to protect his secrets. It was late evening at the bad boy office. Sean's there, casually puffing on his trademark cigar, with a few of his closest confidants around. Suddenly, Faith Evans walks in. Now, Faith had been a close friend to the group and had a complicated relationship with Sean. She's been involved with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, but tonight, she's about to confront Sean on something huge. Faith brings up Biggie. Remember, she'd been asked by Sean to keep an eye on Biggie, which meant more than just watching his back. Sean wanted control, complete control, and he was willing to use anyone to get it, even pushing Faith into a relationship with Biggie to monitor him. But things got messy. Biggie and Faith had a child together, which made things more complicated. And Sean? He didn't want to let go of Biggie's loyalty, even as he suspected Biggie might start his own label. Then comes the bombshell. Sean admits he didn't hate Biggie, but he sure wasn't about to protect him when he felt betrayed. He even confesses to manipulating Faith into relationships with both Biggie and, yes, Tupac, to keep them in check. It's a shocking moment of raw, ruthless honesty, showing just how dark and calculated the industry can be. And then, Sean gets vulnerable. He claims he was hurt by Biggie's plans to go independent, and in his own twisted way, he saw this as an ultimate betrayal. His final promise to Faith? He'll take care of her and Biggie's son, CJ. But you can't help but wonder if that promise is more about his guilt than genuine care. Faith Evans is in the room with Sean Diddy Combs, and things get tense. Faith is deeply hurt, and without a word, she gets up to leave. Sean calls her name twice, but she's done. She walks out, and Sean turns to me, looking a bit lost. He just confessed to Faith that he wasn't going to protect Biggie anymore because he was planning to leave Bad Boy. Sean justified it by saying, "Why protect someone who's about to become your competitor?" Here's the shocking part. Sean is visibly upset, questioning why everyone makes him out to be the bad guy. He's clearly torn, angry, and honestly, full of himself. But as twisted as it sounds, I ended up comforting him. And that's where it gets real dark, real fast. This isn't just a story of loyalty, it's about manipulation, control, and what some call Stockholm Syndrome. So, it was a quiet night at Diddy house when suddenly, Jennifer Lopez bursts through the door. She's furious, yelling at Sean for shooting up a club. Yep, you heard that right. Apparently, Sean decided to handle things personally instead of letting his bodyguards do their job. Jennifer's in total disbelief, saying, "You shot innocent people, Sean." She's scared and furious because she knows this isn't going to end well. There's also the question of Shine, Sean's upcoming artist, who Jennifer calls Biggie's replacement. She's worried Sean is planning to let Shine take the fall for him, and it sounds like that's exactly Sean's plan. He tells her confidently, "Don't worry, Shine is loyal. He knows how this works, and he'll be taken care of when he's out." But Jennifer isn't buying it. She's not about to lie for Sean or risk jail time, and she makes that clear. Meanwhile, Sean is cool as a cucumber, totally unfazed by the threat of police and witnesses. He even has the audacity to laugh when she doubts him, showing just how sure he is of his own power and connections. He's as confident as ever, telling her, "Relax. You're never going to see the witness stand, I got this." But Jennifer's not convinced. She knows her attorney won't just magically make this go away. Sean, though, is beaming with confidence. He's got a plan. Between Shine's confession and a few strategically managed witness accounts, he thinks he has it all covered. And when Jennifer nervously asks if he's planning to threaten her lawyer, Sean chuckles and says, No, just money talk, baby." He's so sure of himself, it's almost disturbing. Then Sean switches gears, flattering Jennifer, even calling her a once-in-a-lifetime talent. And, get this, he tries to charm both of us into a little 3-person party that night. But it didn't happen that day. But this moment really shows how far Sean would go to control people even with charm and confidence to get exactly what he wants. However, Kim was out having drinks with none other than Kimora Lee Simmons. Things are going smoothly. There was a bit of a flirty vibe, but suddenly, she feels sick, like she's about to throw up. After barely making it to the bathroom, she returns, trying to play it cool. But Kimora's got a keen eye and she's not one to hold back. She points out that Kim was looking kinda plump, and then drops the bomb. "Are you pregnant?" At first, Kim totally ignored the question, but then the realization sets in. Could she be pregnant? And if so, is it Sean's? The stakes here are sky high. Kimora, straight to the point as usual, basically tells her she wouldn't want to be in her shoes if this baby is Sean's, especially after everything that happened with Biggie. There's this shared understanding that maybe, just maybe, Sean might have had a hand in Biggie's death, and that revelation hits hard. Kim came to terms with her situation, promising to figure it all out soon, while Kimora just says, "Good luck." It's a small moment with massive implications, as Kim is faced with a choice that could change her life. And that's where we'll leave it today. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button because in the next and final chapter, we'll dig even deeper into the drama, the truth about Sean's past, and how this whole saga wraps up. You don't want to miss it. As much as we try to move on, there's always something pulling us back, some truth we're too afraid to face. By the time this story wraps up, it's clear. The weight of past mistakes, the consequences of betrayal, and the cost of loyalty are too much to bear. It's more than just a story of survival. It's about realizing that no matter how hard you fight, some things are beyond your control. The final chapter will leave you with a bittersweet understanding of the choices we make and the price we pay. Don't miss it. The end is where the truth finally comes out. Chapter 16-19. In this chapter, Kim's world is turned upside down. She's just found out she's pregnant, and when she breaks the news to Sean, her boyfriend, she's expecting anger or frustration. But to her surprise, he's thrilled. He's talking about parties and celebrations. Sounds perfect, right? But then, things take a dark turn. Sean starts hinting at something unsettling, something way out of line. He suggests they need to keep up their lifestyle by doing things that would make anyone's skin crawl. He mentions bringing other people into their relationship at the most vulnerable time, right before she gives birth. Get gangbanged by Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and the other dude. It's heartbreaking. Kim is devastated, but Sean manipulates her, claiming these strange rituals are the only way to keep their success, their luxury lifestyle, and their future secure. In a moment of vulnerability, she feels forced to agree. The chapter ends with Kim feeling trapped, fearing for the soul of her unborn child. She's determined to protect her baby, vowing to give them a strong biblical name, something to hold on to as a piece of goodness and purity. Diddy had reached a point in his career where he held immense power. Those around him, especially the artists who worked under his label, were too afraid to speak out. But this wasn't just about business. His temper and need for control crept into his personal life as well. One Monday afternoon, Sean visited Kim, who had just landed a role in a new movie. She thought he was coming over to celebrate with her, just the two of them. But instead of a happy moment, everything took a dark turn. When she came out of the bathroom, she saw Sean with flowers, except he was furious. He threw a card on the floor that read, "The other night was amazing, we must do it again." Confused and caught off guard, she tried to explain it was a simple fan message or maybe a joke. But Sean wasn't having it. His anger escalated, and he accused her of meeting with someone behind his back. As she tried to calm him down, Sean's rage only grew. He demanded to know who the producer was and accused him of trying to take his family. In a fit of rage, Sean smashed a coffee cup, flinging it across the room, and even overturned a heavy table in his fury. After that violent night, Sean seemed to change, but not in the way you'd think. While Kim was recovering, he put on a different face. The concerned, supportive father, there to help her through her injury. But was it real remorse or something more calculated? The next few months were strange. Sean was there constantly, helping Kim heal and offering support and care. But his presence felt less like kindness and more like control.
Said her, and I was just saying, like, she looked kind of big for the amount of months she is. And so I said, baby, I think we need to go to the doctor because you kind of big. You look like you ready to give birth right now. And so we went to the doctor, and guess what? Your boy Diddy is a champion. I am a champion. The doctor told me and Kim, and I'm telling you right now, no press announcement, I'm just telling people in my family that I'm having twins. It is official. Yes, two more Combses. Two.
Her friends and family began to pull away, believing the car accident story Sean had convinced everyone of. As she slowly recovered, she started to feel herself doubting her own memory. Sean would drop hints about how clumsy she was, or how lucky she was to have him there to help her recover. Piece by piece, her independence and confidence faded. It seemed like just when she began to find herself again, he was ready to tear her down. Finally, after months of dependency, Kim found the strength to tell Sean to stay away. But Sean didn't take no for an answer. He would manipulate, plead, and even promise to change. But there was one thing that stuck. She had lost both movie roles. And the producer she had met with? He was gone too, reportedly passing from a sudden bout of pneumonia. It was all too convenient. She couldn't shake the feeling that this illness was more than just a coincidence, but questioning it felt like a risk too high to take. By this point, she understood that the image Sean had created of himself as an unstoppable kingpin wasn't just a title. However, this was the last straw for Kim. It started when she realized Sean hadn't truly changed. After becoming pregnant again, she saw his jealousy, control, and disturbing patterns rise to new levels. When she tried to date anyone, they'd suddenly die, officially from pneumonia. But she knew the truth, and she knew Sean was behind it. Now she was ready to end it for good. The plan was risky, but it was her only way out. Sean had a private vault, filled with tapes from his notorious parties involving artists and some shocking names like Usher, Lil Bow Wow, and Justin Bieber. She started sneaking the tapes out one by one, copying them, and putting them back. She knew these recordings were her only leverage, and each tape she copied brought her closer to freedom. After weeks of preparation, she was finally ready to confront him. She called him over, but this time she wasn't alone. With her friend Kimura there for support, she told Sean it was over. She had the tapes, and she made it clear. If anything happened to her, the footage would be released. Sean's anger boiled over, but she stood her ground. He lunged at her in a final act of aggression, and they struggled at the top of the stairs. In a desperate moment, she kicked him back, sending him tumbling down. When the cops arrived, Sean was taken away in an ambulance, and she felt the weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time, Kim felt empowered and free. The days of being under Sean Combs' control had finally come to an end. Kim tried to start fresh and even began dating again, but every new boyfriend would meet the same fate, dying mysteriously of pneumonia. She knew it was Sean. This wasn't just a coincidence, it was a pattern. That's when she knew. It was time to tell the world the truth. Kim was determined to reveal everything, so she began documenting her story in a book. A tell-all that would expose secrets she'd lived with for years. But then, her home was broken into. Her laptop containing early drafts was gone. But she was prepared. She'd saved it all in the cloud. No one, not even Sean, could silence her now. As she worked on the book, she began feeling ill. Too ill. Sean's voice echoed through the phone, with a chilling calmness. She begged him to think of their children. His response was cold. "The most important thing to me in the world is loyalty." That's when she knew he wouldn't stop. Her worst fear was becoming a reality. In one final act of defiance, Kim sent a group text to her friends. "He got me." Then she called 911, her strength slipping away. She'd written her last chapter, knowing this might be her last chance to expose Sean. This story is a powerful reminder of how control, fear, and fame can mask terrible truths. Kim may never see her words reach the world, but they will. Her legacy will be the truth she fought so hard to reveal. If this story shocked you, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that pull back the curtain on the world's most shocking secrets.